Welcome to Speed Data, quick conversations with cybersecurity leaders. I'm your host, Megan Garza. Joining us today is Ian Hill, Director of Information and Cybersecurity for Upp Telecommunications. Welcome, Ian.
Hello.
Ian is an accomplished technical writer, published author, and international conference keynote speaker on information and cybersecurity. His background spans over 25 years of experience at all levels within the IT industry, across the consumer, SMB, enterprise, and public and government sectors. Ian has been a guest lecturer at Kingston University, and since 2009 has volunteered for ISC2, teaching students how to stay safe online and become responsible digital citizens. Ian, what do you enjoy most about your role, either day-to-day or overall?
I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy making a difference. You know, this increasingly connected world, we're so dependent on technology and connectivity. The risks are becoming so much greater, and people going about their day-to-day lives are a greater risk than ever to cyber attack and compromise. And I enjoy that, making a difference, doing something about it.
And what do you think is the most important thing to remember when working in cybersecurity?
I sort of have different mantras, if you like. I think I've learned from experience over all the years, there's a few things that stick out. One of them is, from a risk perspective, is your greatest risk is you don't know what you don't know. And that's the biggest fear to me. If you know about something, you can make an objective decision what to do about it. What keeps me awake at night is what is it I don't know about? And similarly, the other thing I've learned, having been at the receiving end of cyber attacks, a very famous military mantra from von Moltke, which was no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Doesn't matter how much you plan, when you get hit, it's not going to go to plan. And you need to be agile and think outside the box, because it's never going to go the way you think it is.
And speaking of cyber attacks, in your opinion, what is the best way to defend against a cyber attack?
Greater awareness has got to be the biggest thing. I've started to evolve in the recent companies I've been involved with. I've started to shift from this sort of attitude of a sort of centralized, siloed cybersecurity team, all powerful, to a much more federated model where you are empowering and giving people responsibility and accountability for information security within their own areas. So basically spreading out and federating the whole security piece across the entire business, not just keeping it within this sort of siloed cyber team. And greater awareness, responsibility and accountability for security. Cybersecurity, it's everyone's problem and everyone's responsibility, but actually enacting and deploying it within the business is probably the most effective instrument you can deploy. Yes, you need all the technology and all the other stuff going with it, but empowering the people, it's got to be the primary.
And as you know, in cybersecurity, we love our acronyms. What do you think is the most important acronym? I know there's many in security today.
It's going to go back to basics. It's going to be CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It's the foundation stone. It's what underpins everything we do.
And what do you predict to be the biggest shift in cybersecurity?
Well, because the obvious answer here is going to be AI. That's the big. I mean, AI has been the big thing this year. Everybody's talking about AI. Unfortunately, yes, it's going to be the big shift. It's going to be the big shift from two things. There's going to be a lot greater reliance on technology for people on AI. Cyber threat actors are going to be using it for developing tools and doing a lot of the work for them. Cyber defenders are going to be relying on AI to defend against the cyber attackers. So it is the number one, however you look at it. But I think within that, automation is a big thing. The old school way of doing SOC, security operations center, the old SIEM-SOC thing where you got lots of people staring at a screen waiting for something to happen. As soon as that pops up on your screen, it's too late. So I see a much greater reliance and deployment of automation. And that sort of links with AI in a way, because a lot of these automated tools will be AI driven anyway. So from a defensive perspective, it's going to be a combination of the two. But however you look at it, unfortunately, AI is going to be a big game changer. Where it ends up, I don't think there's a lot of speculation on where we're all going to end up with it. But I think we can safely say it's going to change a lot of things.
I heard a quote once that it's the next industrial revolution. It can be such a positive tool, but then it can also be used for obviously malicious purposes.
Unfortunately, it's human nature, isn't it? Anything that was developed for good always ends up being turned into something bad. It's just seems to be how humanity seems to work.
What is one thing that you wish future cybersecurity professionals knew?
For the future, I think.
Have a crystal ball.
It's a flippant answer. I think if I was to give a piece of advice for future cybersecurity professionals, I'd put this: don't be blinded by the bling. Every day I get cold calls, emails, and things like that from yet another cyber vendor trying to send me their snake oil. And it's too easy to fall into the technology-led strategy for dealing with cybersecurity, very much bottom up. So, very much my advice to future cybersecurity professionals: don't get blinded by the bling. Don't get sucked in by the sales pitch that this wonderful new tool is going to fix all your cybersecurity problems. That's not how it works. You need to work top down. You need to think, what are the business goals and objectives? Security must be aligned with business goals and objectives, and work your way down. If you try doing things technology-led, you do need the technology, absolutely, but you can't be led by the technology. And I see a lot of new people coming up through the ranks and stuff. And, they're going to all the conferences and they're getting salespeople in and it's like, wow, this new shiny bit of software is everything I need. It's not as simple as that.
Yeah, always be wary of something that seems too good to be true.
Hold. And it'll end up being very expensive as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Ian. I really appreciate it. And as always, if our audience has any questions you'd like me to ask during a future episode of Speed Data, please email me at pr@varonis.com. Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Megan.